deliver economic relief to working families and schools and businesses. The Congress has already passed this legislation. It's sitting there. But he refused. He spent all his time this summer in his golf course bunkers or down in the White House bunkers. Think about it. I've been around for a while. I bet even Senator Grassley would have to acknowledge that I don't ever remember any president in a crisis where there's a disagreement in the House and the Senate between Democrats and Republicans, didn't even try to bring them together to deal with this. Didn't even try to bring them together to deal with this. Blown it. He inherited a strong economy from Barack and me. But like everything else he inherited, he squandered it. He squandered it, frankly. I've dealt with guys like Trump my whole life. So have you. Guys who think because they have a lot more money that they're better than you. Look down on you. I know, I acknowledge I got a bit of a chip on my shoulder. Coming from an Irish Catholic neighborhood where it wasn't viewed as that being such a great thing. When I read something about how if I'm elected president, I'm going to be the first non-Ivy League person to occupy the White House in a long time. Well, guess what? Like somehow I didn't belong if I didn't go to the Ivy League. Look, I'll say it about time. It's about time that a guy or woman who graduated from a state university is able to sit in the Oval Office. Because if I'm sitting there, you will be too. You know who really built this country. It wasn't Wall Street. It wasn't CEOs. It was hard-working folks like all of you who built the middle class. And unions help build the middle class. We know how we can build it back and build it back better with an economy that rewards work for a change, not wealth. We can do it without raising a penny tax on the middle class. I guarantee you, give you my word as a Biden, no one making less than $400,000 a year will see a penny in their taxes raised. No one. But I tell you what, it's about time the wealthiest people in America, the billionaires and trillionaires, the multi-billionaires, and the biggest corporations start paying their fair share. 91 major corporations out of the Fortune 500 didn't pay a penny in tax last year. That's tens of billions of dollars. They're going to pay their fair share. Why should a firefighter, an educator, a nurse, a cop pay at a higher tax rate, which you do, than a major multi-billion-dollar corporation? Why should you pay more taxes than Donald Trump, who paid $750? You want to know everything I don't like about Trump? Let me tell you, captured in one answer he gave. He was asked last time out about paying so little tax and allegedly being a billionaire. Know what he said? He said, it's because I'm smarter. I know how to game the system. Well, they ain't going to be gaming the system anymore in the Biden administration. They're going to start paying. And we're going to deliver tax relief for working families and middle class to help you buy your first home, pay for health care premiums or child care, or care for an aging loved one, or being able to pay off your student debt, for God's sake. Look, it's all about just where I come from. It's just about being fair. We're not asking anybody to do any more than anybody else. Just be fair, decent. Trump got a Supreme Court justice for overwhelming reason. By the way, never before has there ever been a hearing on a Supreme Court justice once an election began. That's never occurred. But he got his justice for one simple reason: to destroy the Affordable Care Act. He'd been trying since the day he got elected. And if they get their way, 100 million people will lose protection for pre-existing conditions, including 1.3 million Iowans will lose it. Complications of COVID-19 are going to become the next pre-existing condition, allowing insurers to jack up your premiums, delay your coverage. And a lot of young people don't realize this, but before Obamacare, insurance companies charged women more for the same health care they charge men because they could. That'll end. Donald Trump thinks health care is a privilege. I think it's a right. And we all get out and vote. And by the way, they're going to court in 10 days. 10 days. As he said, to wipe it all out, end it, all of it. Well, I'll restore the Affordable Care Act, and I'll strengthen and build on it so you can keep your private insurance if you like it, or choose a Medicare-like public option. We're going to increase subsidies for lower premiums, deductibles, out-of-pocket expenses, surprise billing. And as Teresa said, this time we are going to make sure Medicare can negotiate with the drug companies for prices, reducing them by 60%. I promise you we'll get that done. We're going to make sure we can keep protections for people with pre-existing conditions. Remember what he said when he was talked about the people who were dying and not dying? He said, quote, virtually, this is a quote from Trump, virtually nobody's dying except for people over 65 with heart conditions. Like they're disposable. What the hell's the matter with this guy? No, I'm not joking. Think about it. Think about it. And then when he was told for the first time that we're like we did today, 1,000 deaths a day, remember what his comment was? He said, it is what it is. Well, it is what it is because he is who he is. That's why it is what it is. These guys are something else, man. And meanwhile, the actuary at the Social Security Department says, if Donald Trump gets what he's saying, he said, you reelect me, I'm going to change Social Security. The actuary says, if the change occurs as he's promoting, it will bankrupt Social Security by 2023. Go home and tell your parents and grandparents that. That's a fact. As Teresa said, I'll protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And let's not forget how Donald Trump, weak and chaotic China trade policy has cost farmers and manufacturing so badly. Agricultural exports to China during the Trump years have been 40% lower than during the Obama-Biden second term. On his watch, and this really bugs me, on this watch, ethanol margins have tanked and Iowa's manufacturing facilities are idle and even closing. He even says, and I love this quote from him, he says, because of his bailouts, our farmers do better now than when they actually had a farm. I'm going to read that again. Our farmers actually doing better now than when they actually had a farm. Where's this guy from? Who does he think he is? Look, I'll do what he's been unable to do. I'll mobilize a true international effort to stop China's abuses so we can strengthen manufacturing and farming in Iowa and across the country. I'm going to hold China accountable, which he hasn't from the pandemic on. Folks, but there's nothing worse, in my view, than the way he has spoken about those who served in uniform. He called them losers and suckers. My son Bo, many of you knew, volunteered to serve a year in Iraq, gave up the Attorney General's job to do it, won the Bronze Star, the Conspicuous Service Medal, and other awards. He was neither a loser or a sucker. He was a patriot. And Teresa, so is your son Dane, who is in the Army. He's a patriot, like all of your sons, daughters, and all of those of you who have served. It's no wonder that the 6 top generals in the President's administration left and said he does not deserve to be Commander-in-Chief. His own generals in his own administration. No president has ever had that happen. None. And that's why Special Forces Commander Stanley McChrystal, General, and the head of the Navy SEALs, Admiral McCraven, along with 20 other 4-star generals, endorsed me, saying they'd be proud to have me as Commander-in-Chief. A sitting president. And that's why the Military Times quotes, more troops will vote for Biden and Trump. Folks, it's not about me, it's about him. That's why we have to support our military. You vote for me, you're voting for them. And while Donald Trump fails to condemn white supremacy, we can vote to deliver racial justice. A season of protest has broken out all across America. And by the way, legitimate protesting is not burning or looting. Violence can never be tolerated, and it won't. But those protests are cries for justice, for George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Jacob Blake. They'll not soon be forgotten, not by me, not by us, or not by this country. Folks, we have to vote to meet the challenge of climate crisis as well. More frequent extreme weather. The West is on fire. We've lost more forests than the total space of Connecticut and Rhode Island combined in the West. The Midwest, I need not tell you, is flooding. You know here in Iowa, with the wrench code, catastrophic floods and droughts that lay waste to lives, livelihoods, and whole communities. And in the South and the East, hurricanes are more severe. Oceans are rising. My state's only 3 feet above sea level. People are already talking about the change we have to make. We don't have a lot of time. Donald Trump, when you say climate change, he thinks hoax. And that stable genius, as he calls himself, continues to say wind power causes cancer. It's the same guy who said, by the way, you think I'm making this up, when he was advised about the increasing hurricanes coming across the Atlantic because of the warm water, he said maybe we should drop a nuclear weapon on them. Holy mackerel. This also a guy you may recall, a stable genius, said the problem with the Revolutionary War was we didn't have enough airports. And he talks about mental acuity. Whoa. Folks, you look at climate warming, you look at it the way I do. Creates jobs, Iowa jobs, jobs across America. You understand that here in Iowa, you've already created thousands of good-paying jobs because of your dominant in wind energy. And it's expected that the number of wind jobs will double or triple by 2030 in Iowa. Notwithstanding that the stable genius says wind power causes cancer, wind power helps save the planet, generates millions of dollars in economic growth, and provides good prevailing wage jobs. Folks, combating climate change means saving the planet protecting our health and creating millions of good-paying jobs, union jobs, in wind and solar and carbon capture. Iowa farmers will be the first in the world to be in a position where they reach net zero emissions, because we're going to make sure there's a whole lot more land set aside and you get paid for it. Deep-rooted products, emissions, reward them. Folks, we can do this. There's nothing beyond our capacity. So honk if you want America to lead again. Honk if you want America to trust each other again. Honk if you want America to be united again. Folks, we cannot afford 4 more years of Donald Trump. In 2008 and 2012, you placed your trust in Barack Obama and me, and we worked for you, for the entire country. Well, I'll do it again in 2020. My campaign is a broad coalition, welcomes Democrats, Republicans, and independents. I'm running as a proud Democrat, but I will govern as an American president. I'll work as hard for those who don't support me as those who do. In my administration, there'll be no red states or blue states, just the United States of America. Folks, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. That's the job of a president. A duty to care for everyone, to heal. And you too have a sacred duty, a duty to vote. It matters. Iowa matters. So in these final days, stay empowered, stay united, stay optimistic, make a plan to vote, vote early, vote on Election Day, help get out the vote. Go to iwillvote.com/IA. Folks, this president has done everything to try to discourage us, to try to convince us that it doesn't matter. All about illegal voting, all the stuff he's putting up. But guess what? He will not be able to stop us at all. Despite Trump's efforts, a recent press article 2 days ago said, never before, quote, in modern presidential politics has a candidate been so reliant on wide-scale efforts to repress the vote as Trump, end of quote. We will not be silenced. 85 million people have already voted so far. We've had enough. Folks, look, I'll never forget, as a kid, the words of President Kennedy about going to the moon. He used the phrase, he said, we're doing it because, quote, we refuse to postpone. Well, I refuse to postpone the incredible opportunities available to the American people. There's nothing beyond our capacity. There's no limit to our future. The only thing that can't tear America, look, I'll talk about how we're in trouble. Well, nothing can tear America apart except America itself. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing from the beginning, trying to divide America, pitting Americans against one another based on race, gender, ethnicity, national origin. It's wrong. That's not who we are. Look, folks, everybody knows who Donald Trump is. We got to let them know who we are. We choose hope over fear. We choose unity over division, science over fiction. And yes, we choose truth over lies. So, folks, it's time for us to stand up, take back our democracy. We can do this. We're so much better than we've been. We can be who we are at our best. The United States of America. There is literally not a thing we've ever been unable to do. Nothing. The only country in the world that's ever come out of every crisis stronger than it went in is the United States of America. And with your help, I promise you, that's what we'll do again. God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
Joe Biden wrapping up there in Iowa. He has several events today, and we continue to feature election 2020 as America goes to the polls on Tuesday. And of course, we'll have full coverage for you on that day as well. Thank you so much for continuing to join us right here on News Now from Fox. We got to know a live look right here in Green Bay, where they are setting up for another President Trump rally there in Wisconsin. Of course, we'll have that for you. Should be happening within the next hour, but we're going to go out to Flagstaff, Arizona, where soon Vice President Mike Pence will be holding a live rally. And right now we have Senator Martha McSally from Arizona, who is in a tight race of her